Welcome back to the channel. My name is Justin Nowell, and today we are going to be watching one of my matches against Michihito Kageyama of Japan. We were practicing for the UBC tournament that's going to be happening in a few days in Monte Carlo. I, though, will not be going to the tournament this year. There's a baby on the way. And Oliver Squire was here playing with us as well. We've got matches from him on the way too. So when two of us were playing, the other one was doing transcription, and then afterwards we would analyze the matches together to find out, with our collective knowledge about backgammon, like where we were making mistakes and how we could improve to increase the likelihood of a positive outcome at the UBC tournaments. It's a fantastic tournament. The winner of the match gets a point. The winner of the PR or performance rating gets a point as well. And whoever has the most points at the end enters like a knockout stage where you play another person and you get just as much value from winning the match as you do from winning the PR. And at the end, if the points are tied, the person who played the best ends up being the winner. Well, welcome to the channel. We're going to get started with the match. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel, smash the like button on the video, and if anyone is interested in backgammon lessons with me, Justin Nowell, please feel free to send me an email at justin@backgammonuniversity.com. And let's begin. All right, we're sitting down, the board's getting set up, and here we go. Now he wins the opening roll. Now that the camera started, 6-5 runs for Michy. 6-1, of course, just makes the bar. I'm hoping this develops into better priming structure. Making points, of course, is good in the beginning of a backgammon game. We're trying to restrict our opponent's movement. I instantly kind of made this play, which is a small mistake, medium mistake, actually. It's interesting, that position, because if Blue had both back checkers still on the 24 point, I know that it's the best play to make the 5 and come up with both. But because he had already escaped one checker with 6-5, I know it to not be correct now, which I did not know before this study session. 6-4 enters and runs. I miss. So I cover, and I just start preparing for contact, hoping I get a shot at some point. And 4-1, okay. So we can't bring the guy entirely to safety. So look at this play Michy finds, just breaking the home board, only leaving me a 7. So I see him break his board, and I'm like, okay, what's the race? This is like the first question I ask myself in these spots when I start thinking about the cube. What's the race? Because if I'm up in the race by any bit, maybe I start considering a cube if I'm up like enough, because there's the equity of the shot, and then, you know, his board looks like that, so like hitting me back, it ends up becoming a bit of a mess for him. But after counting the race, I see that I'm losing the race. And so, of course, the logical conclusion would be that I do not double. But do I come to the logical conclusion? Yeah, I do. Okay, so I don't double, but I do roll the 7. Boom, and I hit. What a great shot. And 4-1. Okay, so he gets to enter. And he's not sure about how he should enter. He's trying to think about what he can do to take this cube that is likely coming. This stays further back, but since I have the 7 made, it doesn't really give him a way to exit. Here he comes up high and makes the point. There's no blots in his board, and he can see daylight. The problem, of course, is I have checkers that are coming down on his head. My structure is better. He's also down in the race, and since he's down in every aspect of this game, and there are a lot of market-losing sequences. And by a market-losing sequence, I just mean, you know, there are enough good rolls for me followed by poor rolls for him to where, you know, if I don't double now, it's just going to be a massive pass on the next shake, but it's already a massive pass. But he's thinking about it.
Hey.
All right. Cool. Thank you.
Thinking is free, of course. You have your time bank. You get to do whatever you want with your time in these matches. He takes. I'm hoping for a good number. Okay, 6-4 is not the best, but I do hit loose, praying that I do not get hit back with a 4. I do, though. I also get double hit. Yeah, I'd say it's above average. Hits 1 and hits 2, and now Michy's just praying I don't roll a 4 back, because then his position is good. I roll 5-1 and miss. And he rolls 2-1. Pause the video. What would you do with 2-1?
Where's my below average? Where's my one? Where's my one?
At least he's balancing his range with best numbers followed by worst numbers. This is good.
Is the only option? What else?
So I'm kind of looking away from the board here because I think I see 4-1 hit, and I don't want him to see what I'm looking at. So we'll just let him go through all the options.
Maybe this is better.
We are taking these matches very seriously, but of course the whole point of us playing each other is just to try to find mistakes in our own game, try to fix the holes that are there through the analysis that happens afterwards that we do together. We didn't record that bit, so this is the analysis we're having now. And one of the reasons why I don't like this play is because now I have 6s. And I tell him.
I was thinking maybe just hit on the 1. Duplicate the aces at least.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
And now I have a good 6. So I've got 6s, 1s, 2s, and 3s instead of just 1s, 2s, and 3s. So there was many more numbers that did something constructive. But if you don't see the play, it's hard to find it. But the tempo is really quite necessary in order to stop me from rolling. But his position's decent now. You know, he's got the advanced anchor. And I'm just trying to get out of there. I do make the outside anchor. And I'm thinking about whether or not I should play 3-1 or 5-3, or I should leave this guy here. And since my forward position is so strong, I find myself not so worried about
Very careful.
getting hit with a 7. And double 5s just brings everybody down. And if I just get missed with a 6-1, I feel like the game is going quite good. 6-2, okay, that was close. 2-1. Okay, well, I don't want to leave shots out there anymore. His board is improved, and there's no need to. 5-3. Yeah, we could make the point. We could play 2 down. We could play down and in. They're all very close. 6-5. Right, we're just bringing everybody in, trying not to leave shots, making our position very solid. 2 down. 6-5 is a bit annoying. And I decide to break the 8 point, which is the best play. And I do it kind of quickly because I don't want the gap there on the 7. I know if I clear the 7, I can cover both blots, but that's not the goal. The goal isn't to have the strongest home board behind the guy. The goal is to find and make the best position that's going to allow me to bring everybody home safely, right? Now I just no 6-5, please. 4-1. I can instantly see it's the best play, but I Just want to look at the variations here, and I dismiss that because if I roll double sixes instead of rejoicing, I leave a shot, right? And I don't want a number like that to kind of ruin the party I'm having. Double six. And now I'm convinced I'm going to lose this race. He's just counting it. You'll see he's down a tremendous amount. And I'm sure he'll put it back. He's just doing this to count and see where he's at. He said he's down by 18 after the roll. And he needs to stick around then, right? I might roll 6-3. I might roll something that allows this position to just continue to get awkward. And so sticking around is his best chance of winning. 6-5 brings both in. 4-3, right? You need to stick around. 6-2 leaves a shot. Double sixes leaves a shot. Double fives leaves a shot. 5-4 is fine, but double fours leaves a shot as well. 2-3. I just take 2 off. I know that blue is going to be forced out with sixes. Any 6 really. So this is the safer play. But I feel like taking 2 guys off might make him want to leave, right? Like, it's hard to say. I just know he's forced out with sixes, and so I decided to take 2 off because I thought it improved my racing chances. Double fives. I would have been punished if he could have stuck around, though, despite my play being the best one. 4-4. And double ones. UBC style matches are interesting because you're just as interested in winning the game as you are in winning the match PR. The way the competition works, you get 1 point for a match win and 1 point for a PR win, right? So being able to win the match and win the PR is super big when it comes to winning these tournaments and making a deep run in them. It's very difficult to do if you can't outplay your opponent. And so it's all about just finding the most optimal play and hoping that leads you to towards your victory as well. Which in theory it should, right? If we always make the best play, we should win more than we lose, is the hope. So he plays 5-4-2 down, which trailing isn't bad, you know. It ends up being slightly second best. But it's not a bad idea if you're trailing by a significant margin in the match to make the opening play that's going to try to win more gammons. Splitting plays are going to win more games, and plays that bring 2 checkers down are going to win more gammons. 6-3 just runs all the way to meet up with the other checker in the outfield. 6-5. Okay, so he's winning the race after the play, so he should just run all the way to the midpoint. Three one just makes the 5. Double ones. Interesting decision. So since he's up in the race, he probably wants to step up. Then I guess you just make the bar. And this is where knowing the race is really important, because if you were down, maybe you just stay back and increase the contact zone. All right, so I think this is important to note. When you have both checkers escaped, you really don't want to leave shots. Because having a second guy or another guy or one guy in this situation like sent back is absolutely devastating, right? And so you just want to play to not be hit. So the other play I was considering was 15-11, 15-10, but then I just started counting all the shots, and I go, well, if he hits one of those, it's going to be pretty bad. So I just, replenish the spare on the 8, I think, and play 6-2 as like an idea, even though that might help later on if I missed. Getting hit ends up not being worth the risk in my mind. Double ones just makes the 4-point. And 6-4 now. I mean, this is a problem, right? We can see that my position is starting to get stripped, and I don't want to leave shots. So the only play that doesn't leave shots is just stacking everything on the 2-point, which I know is thematic, but it feels pretty weird, especially when I know I can make the 9, and that would help me restrain my opponent's back checker. But if he hits me, I'm in trouble. But I'm having this conflicting thought, and I see my position just getting worse and worse and worse. Even though I know I shouldn't be leaving shots, it starts to play tricks on me. So I'm able to do it here, right? Even though I'm putting a 3rd checker on the deuce point, which looks pretty funny to me. But now I roll 6-3, and I'm just like, oh my goodness, this has to stop, right? This is my thought process at the time. I'm like, am I really going to play 8-5, 8-2 here? Am I really going to do that? It just feels so bad. Like the first time I did it, I knew that it had to be done. And then the second roll that I got, I knew I had to put the 3 checkers on the deuce point. But can I really play 8-5, 8-2 here? It just feels so funny that I don't know if I can do it. I don't know. My better judgment is telling me this is the play. But my I know I shouldn't be leaving shots. It's very thematic, right? You have your game plans in each sort of position type, right? And when you've achieved full freedom, it is really, 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 really not in your best interest to be leaving shots because they might hit them, right? Now, it's one thing if we were down in the race by a certain number of pips, and if we allowed him to escape, we would be losing. We might have to attack then, despite the risk. But when the race is close, or you're up in the race like this, it's probably just not worth it. But it is hard to make a play like this. It just looks so bad, and I'm wondering, what am I going to roll next time? And even though this leaves a shot, to me it just looked prettier. And this is my post-analysis excuse making for why I eventually make this play. And now Michy starts thinking about a cube, which I did not consider him giving. I didn't think it was a cube, but now he's pausing.
I figure maybe you don't double me here, so.
Yeah, I said maybe he doesn't double me after this play. But now he might.
My mom would be really, really upset.
I said if I cleared the 8-point, my mom would be mad at
She
me.
doesn't know how to play backgammon, so it's
So she'd be upset for
just because she
different
saw
reasons.
how distraught I was, and figured there'd be something in it,
No part of me is nervous about taking this cube, and that was part of the reason why I kind of made this play, even though it was a mistake. I'm just okay, well, it's like he can cube me here.
It's my least favorite.
But I guess it's close to a cube, much closer than I was thinking it would be.
Well,
And he doubles me, and I take it, of course. And then I'm just like, no ace, please.
You don't have to roll it, Michi.
But
Just wanted to let you know.
there is an ace, and I'm like, why did I leave a shot? That's so sick. Double threes, though, so this enters, and I hit.
Now what?
And I've got one more to play. And honestly, like in these spots that are tactical positions, I make my play candidate A, and I'll set up another play candidate B, and then I'll go through my opponent's next rolls, right? How does, 6-5 play, 6-4, 6-3, 6-2, 6-1, 5-5, 5-4, 5-3, 5-2, 5-1, 4-4, 4-3, 4-2, 4-1, right? I'll go through all the numbers, and I'll kind of keep a mental checklist of how each of those numbers play for my opponent. And if I see he has more good numbers in one play versus another play, well, I'll make the play that has fewer good numbers for my opponent. It just makes sense. So I set up this play, and I realize now he can hit me with like 4-1 and 3-1 and double ones, right? And I go, no, I'll just make this one, because I just get hit with 1-6 and 4-3 and 4-4, right?
I entered double threes.
Yeah.
I hit
Well,
two of them.
And I will also be hit with deuces on the 3-point, but that was always going to be the case as well. So
Your decision, I think.
it just looks like I get hit back less.
Actually, I think Oliver's
which
right,
I like.
Michi. I had a 3-6 to play.
Okay.
You've hit.
Okay.
What I've hit or come out, I would have.
Oh. Good question.
No, not so easy.
No.
But at least I only had two options. All right.
So, are you okay?
Yeah.
You can answer that later. I think I would have just come out.
4-5, so I get missed here.
So,
And where should the 5 go?
3 options. Maybe this is
Out, down, or hit. Out, down, or hit. So if he just does this, I'm going to roll, and I might be able to attack him and point on him and then roll a 6 later. I might roll a 6 and a number that hits him loose, which would be good for me. So he goes for this play, which is the best play, hoping that I don't roll a 3. But of course I do. Why would I not? I'm a very good roller. And I'm looking at the play I think is the worst play first, just to see if there's anything in it. I'm not really considering this too much, but this just looks so much better. I think it gets hit back a little bit more, which is why I considered the other play. But if I don't get hit back as much, this plays much better in the future. I've got 1s, 2s, and 3s to continue to attack on the 4. I've got 5s and 6s to hop out.
And then I rolled 3-2.
Like, what else could I ask for, you know?
And I rolled gently for little numbers, and I rolled 2 little numbers. 3 hit,
Mhm.
the 2 just lifted
Yeah.
you.
Just correcting the transcription with Oliver, who's doing the transcription right now. He enters and hits outside. Now I need to enter, so I'm going to try to roll gently for smaller numbers again.
Okay.
Double. Oh, no, it's not double 4s. It's 4-5. That's just as bad. Plays the same way. Now 5-4 points on me. This is not going well. 4-6 fans. 5-1 just makes the bar. Just in case I enter, he's got me trapped back there and no place for me to go. You might think it doesn't have as much value because I have 2 on the roof, but if I enter quickly, you'll be happy you have it. 4-2 misses. This is great.
Make a point? Yes, I think so.
Coming out to the 18, right? So we can do forwards, backwards, backwards, forwards types of plays. We can work on coming out while, our attacking numbers aren't working. 3-2, so this 3 hits. And the 2 should probably just come down. That's his first instinct play. 7-2 is the second best play by a little bit. And I guess one of the reasons you don't want to do this is just in case I enter quickly and you underperform, the 5' is gone and it gives me a way out. But the plays are so close. Of course, the upside to this play is that if I don't enter, you've got more numbers to cover the 2 point, which is why they're so close. But I roll 2-1 and I hit and enter with both checkers immediately. And Michy rolls 3-1, and so he enters and has to hit again. And then I roll 2-4, which hits. And now I'm looking for another 4, and none of them can come out. And if I'm going to leave a bunch of shots in the outfield that can be hit, I might as well just hit the second guy, was my thought process.
I guess every other play is dangerous as well.
And he enters with a 3. And I mean, I think for a millisecond I think about a cube, but like I'm up in the match score holding on to a 2 cube. I don't want to jack it up to 4. So I hit and cover.
I'm not really touching it. I just wanted to sit. Okay, I'm trying to make sure I'm not making like a legal contact move with it, you know? There's no way.
There's no way I'm giving this 4 cube back to him. He just anchors and he might be able to ship it back to 8, which is what I'm trying to avoid. You know, if I can win a gammon here, it gets me to Crawford, which is something I would like to see happen. I thought this play was interesting, playing 2 down from the 13 point. It gives me more indirect numbers to continue to attack on the points as well, which is nice. And it also breaks contact from 13 to 18 points, which the computer apparently really likes. And I make this mistake here where I should end up making the 9 point. But I thought that if he entered again, I would likely not want to be behind the priming structure. And since I saw the clever duplication of 2s here, I kind of tricked myself into thinking that because of the duplication, it was a good play. But duplication is a bit overrated in some spots. But in this one instance, it saved me, because had I made the other play, he would have hit me. So in the moment, I feel like I made the best play, but in post-analysis, I was able to learn something about what I should be thinking about in these spots versus some other things, you know. And if you can always add something new to think about, like you find out you were wrong about a play, the whole point of these exercises is just to generate mistakes. You generate mistakes. You try to play as perfectly as you can, but you generate these mistakes so you can learn from them and find a way to play it better in the future. Six three, all right. So basically everything leaves a shot. So how can I improve my position? I don't want to leave a double shot, that's for sure, yeah. So I think I could just cover the 9 point, yeah. Which is like nice when I see it. I go, okay, so I'm leaving a shot. I don't really want to leave a shot, but does everything leave a shot? And it looks like 14-5 leaves a double shot, which is worse. So why not make the 9 point, all right? So this looks pretty good. If he hits, you know, the 3s are duplicated to play 5-2 as well. So I like this play. It just builds something good while getting rid of something that's kind of holding me back. If he rolls a 3, he rolls a 3, you know, what am I going to do? And plus, every other play just looks worse. 6-4 misses. If you haven't already yet, please smash the like button to the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet already. I'll be making a few more videos in the future, and they're like this, and I think well worth watching for aspiring players out there. And of course I'm thinking about a recube again. You should be thinking, but thinking is free. You don't have to do it. So my first candidate is this, and the only other two I have is either 14 to 12 or 6 to 4. And the problem I have with 6 to 4 when I look at it is like, okay, how am I going to cover this if I get away with it, right? It gets hit the least, which is nice. But if you look at it, my opponent doesn't have good aces anywhere else on the board. So this ace would be fantastic for him. Which is why the other play is better, right? The 5 is duplicated to cover the 5 point if he hits me. And it's easier to clean up if I get away with it and don't roll something great on the next shake. So he hits and he covers. And now I'm like crossing my fingers. I roll a 5. I do not. I roll double ones. And the only play that doesn't leave another direct shot somewhere is now going to the 8 and playing 14 to 13.
It's not as bad as yours, I don't think. Well, yours was fine. Yours.
And I'm just looking to see if there's another play, but there isn't.
Well, I'm not needing a direct shot, right? So let's just do this. Call it a day.
And I'm hoping he doesn't roll a number that covers. But he does.
I disagree.
The 5 covers. Oh, no, he's got a reroll. 5-2 again.
So,
Repeating
Good
dice.
thing, you know what they say, right?
this is two for sure.
And he can hit the other guy or he can cover.
Good thing.
But sending the second guy back is huge, especially if I don't roll a 5. I mean, the game is like over. Whereas if he just covers and comes around, I can bat him around in the outfield and maybe roll a 6 later, so the hit is clear. I just so happen to roll a 5-4. So I enter and make the advanced anchor, and if he doesn't enter, he is in some serious trouble. He fans, and now I think I'm too good. Or not good enough. One of the two. But either way, it plays the same. So now I think I'm doing really good, right? So, you know, if I were holding on, or the cube was in the center in that spot, maybe I just double, right? But there's a huge difference between giving somebody a 2 cube when you're leading in a match and giving somebody a 4 cube. Really, really big because of the leverage that they gain by them giving you the cube back on 8, which would be pretty scary. Pretty scary. Just trying to find a 3. And here, if he enters quick enough, right, I could still have trouble bringing this game around. So I think holding on to the cube is the safest bet. 2-1 fans. He's helping me out. 4-4. I play this a bit too quickly. I start off with the wrong 4, which is making this point, thinking I can just play down now, make the other point, and everything is good. But in reality, after looking at this a bit, I played it a bit too quick. I can have good spares on the 5 and 6 and spares in the outfield that can't be hit by anybody. And it gives me a lot of numbers to make the 3-point, which I didn't give myself the opportunity to find because I played the first 4 too quickly. It was a bit of a move order error, actually, more than anything else. And he enters with 3-1. And now I roll 6-2 and I pick and pass. I can't let him make this, and I don't really want to get hit back. The computer says on initial analysis that my play was wrong, but on higher analysis it is tied, and as I press plus plus, I think it ends up being better. And I get to make the point. 6-1 fans. Now I'd really like to pick up this next guy out here. 4, and then 2 comes out. Six, 4. Okay, please roll a 3. I'd like the gammon here. I miss him, and since it plays pretty awkward if I try to stick around for him anymore, I just give the 4-5 and try to get around, thinking I'd probably win enough gammons as it is anyway. 5-2 fans. 4-1. So I play to the 8 and play 6-5 for lack of any better options.
You just can't even move, yeah? So there you go. 4-1. Solved for me, you know?
Yeah.
Solved by logic. 5-3 fans. 6-3. And I'm just going to give the 4-4 and 4-1 while he's on the roof. If he enters after I make a play like this, things could get really awkward on my next roll, and he could get direct shots. So I'm giving him 3 indirect numbers right now just to try to solve the problem while he's on the roof. 5-4, there's the 5, and then there's only 1-4 that doesn't leave a shot, which is this. 6-6 fans. 5-5, no. So that one's forced,
Ooh, yeah.
but I put it in the wrong spot. And now I've got one more. If I take off the extra checker, it's a pretty big blunder because I leave him more indirect numbers to hit me from the roof, which is not good. Getting hit is bad in these situations, so leaving fewer shots must be better. Just because I don't have enough checkers off to really take a recube if I'm hit in these situations as well, right? Like, it makes it much more difficult if he's able to close me out to take recubes. So I just hope
This guy goes
I get
here,
missed
and then this guy goes there.
Yeah.
You're right.
and everything just works
On my
out.
sheet.
So I make this play, and now my fingers are crossed. 3-1 fans. And here's a technical error. I got a little greedy and took 2 off, but I'm supposed to play the 3 first and then take the 6 off because the gammon is basically guaranteed. And all I'm trying to do is protect against his fanning numbers, where I could roll a big double like this, and if he had fanned, I would have left another shot. But if I played the 3 first and then took the 6 off, he would have been even and even, and then if I roll a big double, there would have been no shots, right? So I did a little miscalculation there where I didn't really consider it. I just kind of peeled, and it could have been costly, right? All these little things add up to a lot of equity lost over time. So I need to be more aware of those situations because I missed one, right?
I use way more time than I think I use. This is very true. I have like no time left actually. I've got like 2 minutes.
So because of the time, my match winning chance should be more than 9%.
4-2 makes the point.
For sure.
So Michy says his match-winning chances from this point are 9%. He goes, but because I'm low on time, maybe his match-winning chances are better than 9%. And I go, maybe. And here, you know, the default play is to go for like the blitzing play, which is to make the 1 as well. But I thought that maybe at the score, playing for priming structure was a little bit better since I can't win anything out of the gammon since I'm 1 point away from winning the match. Which is not the case here, actually. The best play was to make the 1 point. And I don't want to stay on the 18 here because of Blue's stack of checkers on the 8 point. If I come out, you'll see that the 11 point and the 13 point are stripped. And if he rolls a 2 or a 4 to hit me, he'll have to break one of those points in order to do it instead of staying in front of a heavy point that doesn't have to break anything. And double 5s, I don't really have a choice now. I kind of have to make the 1 point. I come down and I'm thinking, do I play 13-8 or do I play to the 6 point? And I do not want to leave a 5-6 from the roof, so I just do this. It's a good spare to make the 5 anyway, and it also puts pressure on his 2 point, but he makes the anchor. 6-4 hits, let's go. Good dice. 6-1 fans. 5-4 comes down and makes the 9 point. 6-1 fans. 2-3 just plays 2 down. You know, I have to clear the mid while he's on the roof. I know it gives 5-5 and 5-6, but you know, what else am I going to do? And hopefully this allows me to make the 5, which I do with 6-5. Now I'm doing really good. The next point I want to clear is the 8 point, because that has contact with blue's 2 point. And I'd like to get rid of that while he's on the roof. So if he enters here, I don't have trouble clearing it later, which is why I clear it first, even though the other one looks like it plays really well. I wanted to avoid future problems by getting rid of that situation now. 5, and now I'm thinking about my next sequence. I could continue to the 3 point, which would be a 0 position, which leaves no shots, but I would like to also clear the 6 point pretty soon. So I do this. Even though 6-4 leaves a shot, it's generally okay to do stuff like this, especially when you can't win a gammon. You know, I just want to get rid of the poison, which is the hardest point to clear, the 6 point there. And I hope to be able to do that on my next roll. Yeah, 8-3 is probably a little bit better. The only reason is if I roll 6-4 and he hits me now, he's gotten rid of his anchor. And having the extra spare there means you can hit and not get rid of your anchor, which means you get to keep that point for the rest of the game, which ends up being good long-term asset. Because I might get around again, or I might enter with a double and point on you, and then you might have some trouble. So 5-4, I should just take 2 checkers off. Six five leaves a shot. The other position leaves no shots and takes another checker off, so it seems pretty clear. Playing 5-1 just kind of looks ugly to me anyway. So let's take an extra guy off, just in case things go funny in the future. I'll have more checkers off. 6-6. It's a little fast for him. You know, it's not like he's trying to save gammon here or something. He can't lose a gammon at the score. 6-2. And I have to clear from the rear. Just looking at it. Looked terrible. Put it back. 5-3. Three one, okay, so I can't clear the outside point, and I don't want to take 2 off like this because 6s and 5s and 4s all leave shots. Right, I'll do this so my doubles are good numbers instead of bad ones. 3-1 makes the prime. I really do not want to roll a number with a 3 in it right now. 4-2 just clears the outside point, right? Just keeping my fingers crossed. 6-1 to the ace, and then from 6 to 5. He doesn't want to have to leave. 3-1, I just clear the point. Now my outside structure is even, so nothing leaves a shot next roll. 6-5 gets to run all the way. I guess you could cover the ace, but it's not going to hurt you the other way. Maybe he just wants to make the 7. So if he does get a shot at some point, maybe he can pick up 2 checkers in some weird variation if he gets trapped on the ace. Double ones. All right. So I make the point, and I don't take 2 checkers off. I just need a single point, so I don't want to make anything awkward for myself. So this is an even outside sort of structure, so nothing leaves a shot if he fans. But if he enters, I just win. All right, so it looks like I won this match, and I played a 2.46 versus Michi's 3.43, which is great. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you guys on the next one. Like and subscribe.